top two teams in the West, though, man, they're like neck and neck. And
Hmm.
I don't know that like my math is right, but the Warriors could be on pace to beat that 70. What was the record? 73-9.
They could,
They
but
could possibly be. I know they're not going to go
I
for it,
don't know if
but
they're
as of
going
right
for it.
now,
Yeah,
they're not. They're not. But
yeah.
as of right now, I think they are kind of somewhere on pace to fall somewhere around like 70 games.
If
They're
they went
definitely
for
going
it,
to
they
get
could
to
get it. If they went for it, they could definitely get it. But I
yeah.
see what you're saying.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't be smart to. They're definitely going to be in that. They're definitely going to be above 65. I think. Even the
Oh yeah,
Suns. The Warriors are 18-2. The Suns are 17-3.
yeah.
How do you compare those two teams?
For me, I think that they are gonna end up as at least top three. They'll be in the top three in the West, for the regular season. I think that the Warriors have a legitimate chance to make it to the finals, and I also think that about the Suns. These two teams are, they have different styles, but they have a lot of the same core like principles of a really good championship team.
Mhm.
Both teams they understand who they are, they understand what they're trying to do, and they're together. I think those are three big things that all championship teams have. Plus, they have two of the greatest point guards to ever play the game on each of their teams, with guys like Devin Booker on the Suns, DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, and the list goes on and on for the Suns. And then on the Warriors, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson's coming back, and he hasn't even played. Jordan Poole has been balling. Andrew Wiggins been balling. Uh,
You say Wiseman?
Wiseman has not gotten back yet, but he's coming too. Um, and I just really like both these. I love watching both of these teams play, man. Especially the Warriors, because I think that once comes back, is they're not going to miss a beat, because just of the style that they play. It's like there is everybody touches the ball, they're sharing the ball, they're back cutting. I mean, I think that all lends to allowing Klay to come in and it
Yeah.
not being any interruptions in what other people are doing.
Literally, my only concern with Clay is like how much wind is he gonna have out there? I
Mhm.
really have no concern um about anything else other than maybe like on ball defense, just because of planning and stuff like that. But other than that, I really don't have a concern with like anything about worrying about what Clay is gonna do. I think it's gonna be kind of similar to how when KD came back in the finals,
Mhm.
and he was still like beat up, like easy stroke. Like he's gonna be able to do what he's good at.
Yeah.
But like going to the back to about the comparing the two teams, like we've had the pleasure to watch both of them play live. We watched the Suns play the Clippers in Phoenix in that game one of the Western Conference Finals, and we just saw the Warriors play against the Hornets this year in Charlotte. Um, that's like what you said. They're just their togetherness and just like how easily they flow in the offense. Like they both do it in different ways,
Yeah.
but they both share the ball. They believe in each other. They have a system. They know where each other's going to be. They play defense on the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
And at this point, it really just seems like those two and then everybody else. Like I really don't see them either of them falling out of top three, you know,
Mhm.
unless something crazy happens like an injury or something. Chris Paul has injury history, and hopefully Clay can stay healthy actually this year. And obviously, you got Wiseman that has some issues, and you know, God forbid something happened to Curry, because that if something happened to Curry, I'm gonna be upset because he's having
Yeah.
an
Me
injury.
too. Me
I
too.
think he's MVP. I'm not gonna lie,
Knock on
but
wood.
just the way that they play on both ends, and it's kind of they can turn it on whenever too. Like the Suns, they've had a lot of games where they'll be, especially at home, that like going around the third quarter is close, is close, is close, and then fourth quarter comes around like 7 or 6 minutes, they just turn it on. Like we saw Curry against the Clippers, the ref ain't give him a call. He got mad and just turned it on, went
It's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
And I feel like they're really the only team right now that can do that, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah. And
I just
I
feel like
can't wait to see these two teams go up against each other. Like it's just going to be a great game to watch. I think I'm really excited for it, and to see Chris Paul and Steph Curry go at it, um, Devin Booker, Jordan Poole go at it. Like it's just going to be. I just can't wait, man. And I think that the Warriors are probably top five in defense this year. I mean, the way that they play defense and Curry has played, or I think this is his best defensive year so far this season. And
my bad. You said who?
Curry, Steph, like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, if you look at it, this is his best defensive year, I think. And with the Suns, I think that they just keep rolling, man. I really like watching these two teams play, so I can't wait, man. It's gonna be great, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. Curry has gotten a lot better on defense. I think a big reason is because he looks like he got even a little bit stronger, you
I
know.
think he did. It looks
And I
like
think, yeah, and I feel like he's kind of figured out how to play those passing lanes and on
mhm.
ball defense. He competes, you know. I just feel like, and I feel like a big reason for that is I think this season for the Warriors is kind of rejuvenating. Like, you know, they've had their struggles the last few seasons with injuries, and now they have a legit chance to, like, you know, compete and win a championship. And with Curry and Draymond and Clay, they know like how hard it is to get there, and to have that chance again. I don't think they're willing to take chances with that. And then with the Suns, they were just there last year, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
man, we were so close. Like we want to get back. And usually teams kind of have a fall off. Like we're looking at the Bucks right now. They didn't have the best starts of the season, but we know, you know, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a large part due to injury, but we know they're going to figure it out. But it's just that hunger and that awareness and uh, that passion,
Mhm.
that that energy that they play with, man.
Yeah, no, and that's something that you just mentioned that hunger. Like the Suns are hungry, man. Like obviously they lost in the finals last year, but they're coming back
It's
really hungry.
reminiscent of the Spurs that one year they lost to Miami.
Makes sense, yeah. And I mean, I was watching JJ Redick's podcast with Mikal Bridges, and that's what he was saying. He was like, it really hurt, that they lost, but now what can we do? We got to come back and lock back in and try and get back. So, and Chris Paul has been playing amazing. Like he doesn't even have to score like
It was
double
one game he had
digits.
like 6 points and like 15 assists. I'm like,
Yes,
hey, he just being a point guard out. At this point, it's not about the stats for him. He just does what
it's
he does.
not, bro. He is the quintessential point guard, right? He is like the if you want a point guard for your team,
Mhm.
like the perfect point guard, it would probably be Chris Paul. You know what I mean? So I mean, and then Devin Booker is doing, his, Devin Booker things with scoring the basketball, and DeAndre Ayton. A lot of people were talking about his contract situation and
I'm
whether
surprised
that
he didn't
would
stay.
mess with the chemistry, but DeAndre's been playing great basketball. Mikal Bridges, I think he's a guy that um, a lot of people may not pay as much attention to, but he is a really big piece to the team, I think, as well. Um,
Cam Johnson,
Cam Johnson coming off the bench, shooting the way he does.
Cameron Payne,
Payne,
JaVale McGee, big addition.
I think that's
They
a
needed
big
that.
one.
They
JaVale McGee is a big one because in the finals, when they went up against Giannis, they didn't really have a guy to back up Aiton that could, hold anything down on the interior. So
Yeah.
I think that was a big addition. So that was a good point you brought
And
up.
Dario Saric is a good player, but he's not
Yeah, he
really
is.
presence inside. he's kind of like a can shoot the ball, can score the ball
Yeah,
type,
yeah,
like Gallinari type thing.
yeah. It's
And I
nothing
feel
against
like
him.
no, nothing against him. It was unfortunate he got hurt, and if he didn't get hurt, they probably would have had a good chance to win last year too. But that
Mhm.
was definitely the biggest hole they needed to fill. But another thing, and like who wouldn't want JaVale McGee on their team? Like I miss him on the Lakers, honestly.
Yeah,
But another thing is I feel like it helps that for Steph and Chris Paul that their teammates like they love them. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like when your best player is somebody that you really like, and you're like, man, like I really respect this guy. I love the way he plays. He makes me feel involved. I feel like, he makes me feel like I belong type stuff. And it helps that they're point guards that are unselfish. I feel like it's very contagious energy on the team.
Yeah, and I think that this goes back to our video we did about the Warriors and their culture and their team and like how they incorporate people. I mean, you just brought it up. You just said who wouldn't want JaVale McGee on their team. I remember there was a time when people were making fun of JaVale because he was always on Shaq and the Fool, and people were like, "Yeah, man, you you wouldn't want him on your team," but he went to the Warriors
And
and like
rebranded his team.
rebranded himself. Like he was a really big part of that team because he was, another big guy that can do things around the stars uh in terms of defense, rebounding, and playing his role. And then he goes to the Lakers, does essentially the same thing, and now he's with the Suns. I mean, it speaks to both the Suns right now for getting him. That's a big addition. And then also the Warriors who have incorporated these players into their team. And I mean Gary Payton Jr. I think he's found his niche in the in the league with the Warriors too. So I mean I'm just really excited for this game, and this
Yeah.
could be potentially be a pretty big matchup in the West. They could make it to the conference finals, and then this is a matchup.
As of now, I would love to see the Lakers, but this would be the best matchup in the Western Conference
Mhm.
Finals. I feel.
As of right now,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, and I mean you have other confident teams like you know the Jazz are a respectable team, and
most
they kind
definitely.
of have that same thing going on where they have a system and stuff, but it's just not the same. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's not on that next level of just like this team can like really win it all type stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about those two, man. Like they're just on a different level right now. And
hmm
hopefully, nothing detrimental happens to either team that will, set them back really. Cause I want to see everybody at their best, every team at their best. And right now it's just a lot of good teams in the NBA. And
yeah.
very happy with
It
the
is,
season.
man. Anything can happen because this is like the first 20 games of the season. So
Mhm.
I mean, anything can happen. But like you said, as of right now, 20 games into the season, like those are definitely the best two teams that I think would be fun to watch in a conference finals or like some sort of playoff series.